Welcome back to another episode of the Burn Factory podcast.
Our manager calls Ibn. We need a guy to come and help Floyd out. He comes walking through the door, and I hear the word Canada, you're up. Floyd taps my gloves, and he was done with the sparring session. He goes, good job, and rolls out of the ring. Ever since then, we were good, and I became his chief sparring partner for when he fought Manny Pacquiao. What I'm really starting to understand in life now is that burn moments are every fucking day.
What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Burn Factory podcast. I'm your host, Priest, joined by my brother, my co-host, the one and only Phoenix. Say what's up to the camera.
What's up, y'all?
This is called the Burn Factory for a reason. I was literally caught on fire. 50% chance of surviving. But through that hard time, I started this podcast because I believe every person out there on this planet goes through a burn moment somewhere in their life that got them to where they are at today.
You heard Priest say burn moment. So burn moment is a super hard time in someone's life that they just had to fight and to get through to be where they are today. Me and Priest believe that every single person go through these little burn moments every single day that help build them to where they are today. But Priest, today we are super excited for this guest to be in the building. Our guest today truly gets his nickname, the Crippler. He has been beaten down and continuously has gotten back up. He has won the Canadian Boxing Council's super welterweight title. He is now 21-0 and is well on his way for a WBC Championship fight. And keep in mind, on March 25th, he has a fight against Abel Ramos in a WBC welterweight title eliminator. So be sure to tune in for that.
Go check it out.
Please welcome Cody Crowley.
I appreciate it, guys. Appreciate it. I appreciate you guys having the whole family here too. This is
Yeah, thank you for coming on. Appreciate it.
This our team right here, you know.
Doesn't get better than family.
Exactly.
Oh, for sure. I mean, we even with our producers, we're just growing together as a family and just
I feel like
can't get any better.
It's a lot like boxing. Like you got to have a tight-knit, almost family type team around you to help you be successful.
Yeah, very, very. You have to be connected. It's only one person in the ring, but I can't even put on the boxing gloves by myself.
Yeah.
I need my coach to tie my gloves up for me. So it shows you right there that you're not alone in there. It takes a whole team.
I've never heard of that, but that just completely shifted my whole mindset. And it's like, wow,
That's true. That's
you
truth.
do.
It's truth.
Yeah, you do need someone in
Need the headgear, putting in your mouthpiece when you have your gloves on. Like it's truly a
tough.
team effort.
Yeah, and you gotta have that belief and faith in someone as much as you have in yourself, because your life is on the line, and you might have someone like your coach telling you something that you don't agree with, and your life depends on it, but you have to trust that he's seeing from a total different perspective. You're inside the fish tank. He's outside. He has a total different view of what's going on. So that belief has to be there that, even though I'm in the fire and it doesn't seem like that, I gotta respect this person, believe in them, and literally believe in them with my life.
Yeah.
So it takes a family. Everybody on your team becomes your family. I might be the thumb, which is the main character, but there's all these other fingers attached to it.
Yeah. Building that trust with your coach, is that something that just kind of gradually goes on, or is that something that you're looking at when you're looking for a coach?
I believe it's something that's very gradual. My coach, he actually didn't even want to train me when I first flew to Las Vegas to come out here. One of a boxing manager at the time, he sent me there, and Ibn, that's his name, my coach, he said to the guy after, if you have a penny invested in this kid, please take it back, because this kid is just garbage. There's nothing there that I can work with. But I continued to show up every single day, and he had all these world champions he was training, got hot prospects coming up, and what happened? Every day I was the first one to the gym. I was the last one to leave the gym, and about 6 months later, eventually I was catching up, and then not only catching up, but surpassing. And 8 years later, every one of those guys that were there are all gone.
Wow.
So
That's a burn moment right there.
Yeah.
Phoenix, imagine like having a golf coach watch your swing and be like, oh, I can't even watch this kid.
Yeah.
He's not going to make it one day. But that gives you the fire in yourself to just, you know
Yeah.
what? I am going to be the best in the world. I am going to prove everyone wrong. And
yeah, and it's great too because I got to teach him something.
Exactly.
That you can't judge a book by the cover.
And you taught yourself something that, like, you know what? F these haters. Like, I'm going to do what I want to do, and I'm going to be a world champion one day.
Yeah, that that kind of got installed from my very first fight, which was to a female, which I lost.
This was kickboxing, though, right?
Yeah,
Correct?
yeah, kickboxing, but a fight is a fight,
Yeah.
right?
was
So-
it, did she beat you bad or like,
Oh, she kicked my ass, man. She kicked my ass. And it was horrible because, before that, I was fat and overweight, zero self-confidence. I played hockey at the time. As soon as I got the puck, I would shoot it away faster than I got it because if I have the puck, all eyes are on me. And I don't want that. I don't want to be seen. I'm a scared little kid. And so my dad, he threw me into kickboxing to quote unquote, he said to stay in shape for hockey, but it was because he needed to toughen me up and he wanted me to lose some weight and gain some self-confidence. And shit, after 3 months, all of a sudden I got ripped up. I'm going to the elementary school telling all the other kids, like, look at what I'm doing. I'm a fighter now and everything. And then picture going back to school after everyone in the school knows that you had a fight. And not only did you lose, but you had to tell them that you lost to a female because 14 and under is co-ed.
Oh, no.
how old were you?
I was 13.
You're
13? Was
Yeah.
she older than you or was she in the same age
It was
as you?
so that bracket. It's only 2 years apart, so it'd be like 13 and 14.
Okay.
And it was a karate / kickboxing tournament, so they do those together. And so this girl, I don't know, maybe she was a purple belt. God willing, I hope she was a black belt or something. But as soon as that bell rang, she picked her feet up so fast and just poof, 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 across my face, and I was done. I was pissing my pants before the fight, and I was pissing my pants after the fight. And but it was in that moment, right after, where I said to myself, no matter what it takes, no matter what I have to do, I'm going to become the baddest motherfucker on the planet because I can't live with this feeling ever again. I already felt so low before, and now it's just 10 times worse. And I can't do that again, or I don't want to live.
That's your burn moment right there.
That was one of the very first burn moments. Yeah.
So you're kind of leading us into our thing. So on this podcast, we do use the acronym BURN. So each letter is like kind of a different time in your life. So B stands for beginning. So kind of take us back to your childhood, growing up in Canada, playing hockey. We played hockey. What are some of those burn moments that you just had to fight through to get you sitting here today?
Well, shoot, that was one of them. And it all kind of stemmed from a little hurt kid. At the time, I didn't know why I was hurt, but I was just ashamed of myself, and I had no confidence. And I found food as a way to get comfort. Before I started kickboxing, I remember even one of my buddies, my best friend at the time, he had like 6 sisters, and they were all beautiful. They were gorgeous. So like I'd be over at his house swimming all the time, and as soon as that door would open, I knew that one of them was coming out, and I'd be out of that pool so quickly, putting on a t-shirt and then jumping right back in the pool because I didn't want anyone seeing my titties. It was just bad self-confidence, and so that's what, my dad helped me, but that's what got me into the boxing and the kickboxing. And then the first burn moment was the losing to the girl. Another burn moment was my very first time. So remember I said I'm going to be the baddest motherfucker on the planet?
BMF.
Yes. Nothing's going to stop me. So I told everybody all through high school. I actually did start getting good at boxing though. I was winning fights. I was on Team Ontario, which was the province. Then I was on Team Canada, and everyone in high school knew who I was.
Is this at an amateur?
Yeah, amateur level. But this is also in Canada, where boxing, the resources and the level of boxing is very, very low. Everyone there is born with hockey skates on their feet, right? So boxing is a very unheard thing. So I thought I was the man. And I'd be telling all my school teachers, they would try and get me to, get good grades. And then the counselors would call me in. What are you doing? You're going to college next year. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm going to be a professional fighter. And they look at me and just kind of laugh and shake their head. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm going to be. And my mom was the only one that believed in me, and my dad. And as soon as I graduated high school, I booked a one-way ticket to Las Vegas. I didn't know anybody, nothing. I came out here. It was about 6 months of getting my face punched in every single day and calling my mom on the phone, crying to book a ticket home. I didn't have any money. They were funding this whole thing. Crying. And finally, 6 months later, she's like, okay, I'll book you a ticket home, because I just gave up. And so that was another burn moment where life just hit me, and reality hit me. And 8 months later, I was 210 pounds, a drunk bum, on living on my parents' sofa. So another burn moment, just not knowing.
Was this before your first fight in Canada?
As a professional? Mm-hmm. Yes, this was while I was still amateur, and when I wanted to become a professional. Because
Okay.
I knew coming from Canada that if I wanted to be successful at this, I need to put myself in the best possible environment to be successful. And that was the fight capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada. But this was coming from a kid who was training himself in a garage to then jump off a plane and think that he can just take on these fighters who've dedicated their whole entire life. It makes sense why I was on the phone every night crying to my mom, telling her to come home.
Yeah.
I was going to say, going back to whenever you were 210 pounds and drinking, what was the burn moment that you're like, I need to get out of being this person who I am?
Well, I always knew, like in the back of my head, I knew I wasn't done giving up, but I needed a breather. And that breather just, once I started drinking and getting into drugs and stuff, that breather kind of turned into a timeout until one night I was at a bar and I seen a girl across the room and I was winking at her like a weirdo. And next thing you know, we're hanging out, everything's going good. And like a month later, she's like, so what do you do with your life? Like, you got no job. I know you were some kind of fighter when I was in high school. Everyone knew you, but are you doing anything? And I'm like, well, I wanted to become a fighter, but I just haven't made that switch yet again. And she's like, well, you know what? If you want, I got nothing going on. I'm kind of not doing so well in college right now, and I kind of want to dip out. So if you want to go do this thing, let's go do it, and I'll go with you. The first time you didn't have emotional support, you didn't have a support system there. That's why I broke. I was all by myself, and she goes, I'll do it with you. So I got my first job ever at a Holiday Ford, and I worked for 6 months and saved up money. She saved up money, and then we both booked one-way tickets here.
Wow.
And yeah, and then I got dropped off at basically the doorstep of my coach's house. And he said, you're shit. He wasn't going to trade me, right? So here's round 2. I come back, and it's like, damn. I feel like I'm in the same situation. The doors just keep shutting. But I kept going and going and going and showing up. Wouldn't take no for an answer. And eventually he's like, all right, fine. Well, I might as well just accept that this kid's not going anywhere and give him some kind of attention. And he did. And as soon as he gave me attention, I kind of took off. And then I was sparring at the Top Rank gym one day, and Top Rank signed me. And that was unheard of, being a kid from Canada, signed a 5-year contract. I thought it was a gravy train. This is great. But they were trying to push me way too fast. And my coach was like, Cody, you are not good right now. And how they're pushing you, you're going to fail. But I believe with the determination that you have and the tenacity to win and the heart that you have, if given enough time, you can be a world champion. So why don't we leave the greatest promotional company in the world right now and do this on our own and take our own timeline, so you can evolve as a fighter? And my parents at the time were like, "Yo, this guy's crazy. Like, we put this guy in charge of our son's life. I don't agree with this." And it didn't start off well. But then Floyd, when he was fighting Manny Pacquiao, here comes another burn moment. They called up Ibn, because everybody knows Ibn Kaysen is one of the best trainers in Las Vegas. And when Floyd has a fight, the sparring manager calls Ibn. We need a guy to come and help Floyd out. And so they called him, and he goes, yeah, I got a guy. Yep. Oh, yeah. You need a guy 5'7", 5'6"? Okay. Yeah. I'm 5'10".
Yeah.
140 pounds? Okay. Yeah. I show up at the door, 5'10", 165 pounds, and the guy looks at me and goes, no. No. And once again, I wouldn't take no for an answer. I just quietly put my head down, walked into the back of the gym, and sat my gym bag down and sat there for 2 or 3 weeks. Nobody saying a word to me, just ignoring me. And then I remember clear as day, one day Floyd was like 3 hours late to the gym. So everyone had to be there at 3 p.m. It's like 6 something. He still hasn't showed up because he's on his own time.
Yeah.
And there was something going on that day. He got in trouble for something. I don't know. People are like, yo, I feel bad for whoever's getting in the ring with Floyd. He's in a pissed off mood today. He finally just showed up. And then 2 minutes later, he comes walking through the door, and I hear the word Canada, you're up. And I'm like...
He said that? He said that?
Not him, the guy who's in charge of the sparring.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like looking around, who's Canada? They don't even know my name, right? They just see I've been wearing Canada colors, and I don't know. They knew I was from Canada, I guess. That's all they knew about me because they never spoke to me before. And so I was freaking out. I got all my stuff. I got in the ring. And then my coach, actually, at the time, he wasn't even there. So I was all by myself.
Oh.
And I looked across the ring, and I'm like, this is the greatest fighter in the world. What am I doing here? And then I look back to my corner. I look down. There's Mariah Carey sitting down there. She's watching Floyd that day. And I'm like, yo, this is just not my scene. That scared little boy's coming out again, right? I don't want the light on me. And within probably 5 minutes, I blew my load. I was totally done. My adrenaline just killed my body. And that was my first time I had an out-of-body experience where the whole entire room just froze. I came above my body, and I just looked around and observed everything for a couple minutes. It was probably only a second in real time, but for me, it was minutes. And I had a moment where I said, you're either going to take a knee and stop right now and jump on a plane and go home, or you're going to keep fighting and you are never, ever going to give up. And all of a sudden, I was back in my body. And 38 minutes later, Floyd taps my gloves, and he was done with the sparring session. He goes, good job, and rolls out of the ring. And ever since then, we were good, and I became his chief sparring partner for when he fought Manny Pacquiao. And then when he fought Conor McGregor as well.
Wow.
But so that was another burn moment. I got the door shut on me.
I was gonna say, how long did it take for you to like really build that mentality of like, you know what, I'm just gonna kick down every door that's shut on me?
Well, that actually, right from when that girl kicked my ass, that mentality started getting created, and it was a great thing, but it actually started to create a monster. Because that's not me, that's not Cody. Cody was doing that for acceptance. Why did he want to be the baddest motherfucker on the planet? Well, he wanted to be accepted. He wanted to be liked. And I didn't realize that that monster was being created until I was 19-0 as a professional. And I had fatty liver disease. My kidneys were messed up. My organs were shutting down. I had lupus, autoimmune conditions. I was pooping blood. I was getting ready for one of my biggest fights at the time, which I was promoting in Canada. And, you know, my mom was coming into the bedroom or the hotel room to kiss me, hug me, wish me good luck. And I'm sitting there crying because I can't even stand up because of a flare up. And I was fighting like this, very, very sick. And it was at that fight where I couldn't even make it out. I couldn't stand up. I was crying to my mom. I slammed 2,000 or 3,000 milligrams of caffeine and got in the ring and boxed 36 minutes. I didn't. The monster did inside of me. And I made a promise to myself that I wouldn't ever fight again until I figured out what was wrong. And then after that, my sickness just got worse and worse and worse. And I was lying in bed and I was super depressed. Then I started getting all kinds of neurological issues. And then when I started a plant-based diet one day, I cut all meat because I was searching. The monster was searching. What's going on? How can we get better? I started a plant-based diet and I started doing breath work every single day and I started meditating. And all of a sudden, I started having memories of why the monster got created in the first place and why that child was hurt in the first place. And it all stemmed from childhood trauma, an incident that happened to me as a child that I didn't want to confront and I didn't ever want the world to know. So I just was protecting that little kid, and that became the monster. And once I started accepting, you know, what my experience as a child, within, I would say, 90 days, my fatty liver disease was gone. No more face rashes, no more poop and blood. The IBS was gone. And I became a whole entire different person. I didn't even want to fight anymore. I just wanted to go and help other people who were suffering from illnesses. And but here I am today, still fighting. But also still trying to help people, still trying to spread awareness and bring them more back into alignment with their heart and what they truly want to do. It was a big eye-opener that a lot of us are just, you know, wearing masks, trying to be a certain person to whether it be get that next promotion at your job or get that next girl or whatever it is, that label or status that we're all chasing in society.
That's actually leading us right into our next acronym and burn. You, unfortunate. Like myself, I had an unfortunate experience with my teacher literally catching me on fire and having a 50% chance of surviving. And were there any like burn moments where you're like, I have to overcome this? Like myself, whenever I was in the hospital, I'm a competitive golfer, and I had my dad go get my putter, and I'd put a couple balls into a glass jar, and that was my burn moment, saying like, you know what, I'm gonna get out of this hospital bed, and I'm gonna go take the world on and do this podcast. And I actually have a foundation through it too. It's the Priest James Foundation. I actually install putting greens at hospitals, and
That's what's up.
Yep. So I'm blessed to even be able to do that. So
Awesome, brother.
thank you, appreciate it. But I'm sure you have so many unfortunate burn moments.
Well, pretty much, you know, fighting sick and not having the doctors be able to help me for 5 or 6 years, every single day showing up to the gym with my body failing. And because there was really no answers and I wasn't getting better doing what the doctors were doing, everyone was just saying, you're a pussy. Like, get up and go, get up and go. And I had to dig deep every single day just to show up in training and do, and just do it. And not even realizing that I was doing something that I really didn't even want to do in the first place. I ever since a little kid, I was a lover. I wanted to connect with people. I wanted to just be happy. And I never really wanted to be a fighter. I was scared. but I wanted to be a fighter as a vehicle to be accepted by people. So I feel like every single day of my life was that moment of making that choice or not to keep going.
How were you able to?
I think the scaredness of the fear, it all comes down to the fear of not being loved, the fear of not being accepted. And I was just so ashamed with myself and what happened to me as a little kid that I had no other option. But eventually I came to a point where my body was shutting down and saying that you have to deal with what's going on with you, what's happened to you. And if you don't, we'll take your own life from you. And that's when I had to go and start really getting into my mind, meditation, and look at other modalities to figure out what was going on with me.
Do you think if you don't do meditation, you're not here?
1,000%. 1,000%. Because I've been, I was very, very hurt. And every day I wanted to kill myself. Every day. And then, the crazy part was that led me to me and my dad as well. When I was a little kid, my mom, she just loved the shit out of me. That was like my safety zone. And my dad, he never knew how to show emotion. He never knew how to talk to me, ask me how I was doing. So I thought that that's what a man is. This man is just this concrete, cold dude who just does what a man does, pays the bills, protects the family, but doesn't have any nurturing side to him. And so what do you always want? You want what you don't have. And so I always wanted my dad's love. And that was another thing that kept me in the boxing was when I would win and when I would fight, that would be a way that me and my dad got to connect. But we still never were friends or had much conversation. It looked like it on the outside of people, but between me and him, if it was just me and him in a room, there wouldn't be more than 5 words said. And so as I started healing and as I started getting more in touch with my emotions and, sharing and opening up, I really started to talk to him a lot more and try and open up. And then I started to see the reason why he wouldn't open up and communicate with me was because his dad never showed him how to. And he was only doing what he was taught. And he was a very, very hurt boy. And I remember he would text me though every single day and say, "How was boxing?" I would say, "Good." Every single day, that was our conversation for the last 7 years. When I was doing better, I texted him one day and said, "I don't want to speak until you have more to talk about. And so I don't want to text. You can call me. Here's my number. You can call me anytime." And it took him about 2 months before I got a phone call. And it warmed my heart. But it was a beautiful thing because I got to see a grown man grow and put down his shield. And our relationship started to grow and it was getting better. But I knew that he was now starting to confront his demons. And everything that was in his subconscious is now starting to come up. And he's starting to get confronted by it. And it was for about the last year, even though I've been, doing all my healing and stuff, things still get hard. You know, I ended up, separating from my wife, still fighting, having all this stuff happen to me. And I would call him and tell him I didn't want to be here anymore. And he would say, "You're a pussy. Pick your shit up. You got responsibilities." And 2 months later, I got a phone call from my sister. Saying you need to book a ticket home. Dad just hung himself. And it completely broke my heart, because I knew that it was 100% preventable. And he made the decision not to confront what happened to him and to talk about it and to get help. So that was very, very sad for me to deal with and process. And here we are now, 6 months later. And that's what my next fight is in his memory. And yeah, so now I'm even more passionate about becoming a world champion, not for myself or for label or status, but because a lot of people have been trained. That's just the way society is today. They've been trained to only listen to people of status. You know, if Floyd Mayweather says something, people jump up and down. If Joe Blow down the street says something, they look at him and laugh and keep walking. So if I become a world champion and I have a label and a status, I can reach more people.
You're a warrior, man.
Yes. That could be a good burn moment for you. I mean, it's awful, but it can give you, like, you know what, going into this next fight, like, I'm doing this for my pops.
Yeah.
I'm going to go out there and I'm going to win.
Yeah. What I'm really starting to understand in life now is that burn moments are every fucking day. And we have a decision every day, because stuff is not going to go right. There's always going to be something that goes different than what you pictured in your mind. So every day you're left with the decision to keep going or to give up on any area in life.
This portion of the Burn Factory podcast is sponsored by Phoenix Salon Suites. Please visit Phoenix Salon Suites at PHENIX Salons SALON Suites SUITES.com to find one near you. Most people give up
Yeah, most people do give up.
because once you're faced with a hard challenge, you're just like, well, what do I do? Like, how can I get through this? And most people are just like, you know what? It's too hard for me. I quit. I'll go do something else. But you're a testament to be like, no, like, I'm going to break through every single door that is shut on me. I'm going to go through all these pains and healing all these wounds to finally achieve what my dream is.
Yeah. And believe me, I'm not perfect. I'm far from it. I make plenty of mistakes. And a lot of my burn moments, I've probably been the creator of them myself, and created those situations. So the only thing I can keep doing is learn from every situation that happens and take it as a not something bad that's happened to me, but a lesson that I'm grateful for. And that lesson can be used as wisdom, and to create a better future.
Well, just think about all the people you're helping. I mean, there's people that are just going through the same thing you're going through right now, and maybe they are thinking about taking their life and like, you know what? No, Cody, he fought through it, man. He's been through hell, but look at him. He's still going. So why can I not keep going?
It has been pretty awesome, the messages that I've received from people, because I still look at myself as just a normal person, because I am. There's nothing that makes me different than you or dad or mom your producers here. We're all the same. So how can someone else look up to me as something else? I still don't understand that, and that's another thing that I don't understand with society is a lot of these problems are created because we're all in competition with each other. But meanwhile, we all have a different thumbprint. So there isn't one person who's the same as each other, but yet we're all competing against each other. It's comparing apples to oranges. So I believe every single person is here for a specific reason. They have a specific gift, and they can do that one thing better than any other person in this world. They just have to find what that one thing is. And a lot of the times, they already know. They're just too scared to take that step off the ledge. Because what if they fail? But all they really have to do is take that step, and that step is the step into their heart. Once they start operating from that heart space, it's just endless what happens. And that's the funny thing too with my boxing career. I had all these hiccups come and go and knocking me down and everything. But the second I started healing, everything started to come just magically for me. I didn't even want to box anymore. And the next thing you know, because when I left Top Rank, I was telling you guys about, and Floyd kind of gave me that idea, well, be your own promoter. Because then I started learning the business and how it works and the promoters and the fighters and, the pimps and the
Politics.
Prostitutes and everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I went to Canada and I started promoting my own shows, headlining my own shows and everything. But eventually what happened there, I got to a point where it's self-funded. So shoot, if there's only 4,000 seats in the arena to sell, that's the cap of which I can pay all the fighters and my opponents. But I'm trying to be a world champion, and to fight these fighters to keep climbing, I need to pay them way more money. So then I did a deal with Dana White, and he gave some money to get on his network, which was amazing. But after that, I didn't know where to go. And once I started healing, next thing you know, I signed a brand new contract to PBC, who's now the newest promoter at the time, and the biggest and the best. And then all of a sudden, I started not even caring about fighting, but my fighting just got better and better and better. And it was so easy. But the only thing that made it easy was I wasn't judging myself for it. I was just showing up, and whatever happens, happens. Shoot, if I got my ass kicked that day, okay. But as soon as I left the gym, I didn't wear it on me. I didn't go home and not talk to people and be all grumpy and everything because I got to get ready for tomorrow. No, it happened. It's life. Forget about it. Smile. Go eat some food. Tomorrow's another day. And things just kept happening. And then now here I am. I'm fighting for the WBC Eliminator to make me the #1 mandatory.
Let's go.
And
Let's go. Get it done.
He's going to get it done.
Yeah, I'm going to get it done, but whatever happens, happens.
Exactly.
I'm still going to have a smile on my face.
This actually reminds me, whenever you first fought in Canada, it was your very first fight, and you wanted to get put on the card, but the promoter wasn't going to put you on the card, and you asked what you needed to do, and he was like, you need to sell a silly amount of tickets, and you actually ended up selling $18,000 worth of tickets.
Yeah, that was within like 24 hours.
Wow.
Another one of those moments where I just wouldn't take no for an answer. And I was lucky to have so much support from my hometown that ticket sales just went super easy. And that moment was, I was like, shoot, if I just had 300 to 400 people drive 2.5 hours away to watch me on someone else's show, why wouldn't I just bring the show to the people?
Like, do you have like a promotion name?
It was CCC Promotions.
Okay.
Cody the Crippler Crowley.
Okay. Triple C.
Yeah, Triple C. So it was just me. Yeah.
How hard was it to start your own promotion?
Technically, anybody can do it, right? You just got to sign up for a license and do some legal paperwork. But the amount of stress that I was under doing that with my business partner and coach Ibn, and my whole family, everyone who was working for us, was just absolutely insane. I would be training 2 or 3 hours in the morning, then working from my cell phone. Now also we're promoting an event from a whole entire another country.
Wow.
And an event, it might cost, $150,000 to put the show on. But I didn't have that money. So I was, borrowing, trying to get sponsors. We're just robbing Peter to pay Paul the whole entire time. So it would be from the gym to sitting in Ibn's SUV and being on the phone, creating, doing the marketing, organizing the fights, matching the fights, booking plane tickets, booking blood work, booking MRIs, printing tickets, getting the insurances, booking the venue. It was just nonstop. Then, of course, you have to sell all the tickets or else you're going to lose money. So I'd be selling everything, and then still going and training again at nighttime. We were putting in like 16-hour days. And normally a fighter just trains and focuses on their fight, but we were having to do everything. And then even once we got to Canada, like, a week or two out from the show, I'd be going to schools, talking to the kids, telling them to chase their dreams, and just trying to spread as much awareness about the event as possible, because if it's not successful, then my journey of becoming a world champion stops. So there was no option for it not to be successful. And next thing you know, we did 5 or 6 shows back to back where they were all pretty much sold out shows. And we created something very, very special in our town.
Cool. Congrats.
How much of a toll, like you talked about the stress you were under during that time, but how much of a toll did that take on your boxing performances?
Well, every single one of those fights, I was sick. Every single one of those fights, a lot of them, we didn't even know if the fight would go on because of how I felt. I remember the second last one, it was Tuesday of fight week, and I couldn't even do 1 round of pads with my coach, 1 3-minute round. And that's with nobody punching you. That's just me, throwing a jab across, whatever he was calling out for me to do. But once again, even though I physically couldn't do it there, I had this will inside of me that when it comes fight night, okay, line up 10 coffees, put them inside of me, and I'm not going to take no for an answer. And I would march out there knowing how I felt, everything, and just have to look at all the people, look at my family for all the work they put in, and no one really know the true story. And I would just have to fake it.
That's crazy.
It created a lot of growth and expansion, though, because it showed me what we're actually capable of. Like how much this vessel that we have, these bodies, what we can actually do, what we can come back from. We set all these limitations on ourselves, but really they don't exist.
Yeah.
Wow.
I really feel like life is just like the 6 inches between your ears. It really is. It's just your mind, and it can be very like deteriorating on you, but it could also be a very good thing for you to just the way that you set your mind and you set your goals to get through.
What you first you see it, and then it comes out, right? That's every single invention. What happened before something existed? It did not exist, but someone seen that picture inside of their mind, and then all of a sudden it's manifested here in the 3rd dimension. It's right here for us to touch, see, and feel. So I believe that shows right there the true power of the mind. I still laugh at all these things that I created that I was unaware of just through the power of the mind. I was like 15 years old. I'd be up all night long watching videos of Floyd Mayweather on YouTube hitting pads with Roger. And I'd be like, I'm going to be there. And I would see it in my eye. 10 years later, there I am in the ring with Floyd. You know, when I was 16, my dad brought me to my first UFC fight in Vegas, and the World MMA Awards were going on at the time. And I snuck down in there past the security guards. I went up to Dana, and I tried to pitch him a reality TV show for fighters under 18 that were amateurs coming up. And he laughed and said, come back and see me when you're older with an idea.
And he did.
10 years later, I came back at a 17-0 undefeated fighter and a promotional company, and we're sitting there doing a business deal together. I remember my parents bought me the Rocky movie. I watched the whole series as a little kid growing up. Boom. So much so, 10 years later, all of a sudden Creed comes out, and a picture of me is blown up in the Creed movie. I have no idea how that got in there. A picture of me from one of my fights in black and white got blown up and posted in a frame in the back of when Apollo's son went to go see the other trainer, and they're talking in the office, having an argument. There's just a picture of me blown up, staring back at me.
Wow.
How did that get in there? It manifested. I seen myself in that movie so much, all of a sudden, a version of me is in the movie. So that right there just proves the power of our mind and what we can achieve.
The mind is the most powerful thing. 100%. It's time to go to R and burn. Ridiculous. Can get kind of funny with this one. You fighting ever since you were 14. Ridiculous moment was you fighting the girl. Are there any ridiculous burn moments out there that got you to where you're at today?
Honestly, I think any man losing to a girl in a fight is the biggest. So I can't really top it. You know, I wouldn't say this is crazy, but my last fight, I was getting ready to walk out. I was fighting in the Cowboys Stadium, and everything just seemed like a full-on movie. Once again, I'm just like, okay, I'm here. I'm just going to show up. Whatever happens, happens. Guys come in, put my gloves on. Okay, this seems about right. Wait a second, something's wrong. Okay, yeah, the commission has to come in, tell me the rules. Okay. Next thing you know, I'm getting ready to walk out, walking down the tunnel right before I go. And I'm like, something's not right. Something's missing. And then a dude just hangs over the railing. Crowley, you suck. And everyone just boo. And I'm like, okay, there it is. Now we're ready to walk out. And
Burn
then I
moment.
walked out.
Burn moment.
So that was a little funny one. Another moment where it was trying to break my spirit, right?
Yeah. That's I couldn't imagine that, just walking out and people were just like, oh.
I mean, you gotta deal with the haters. That's a part of trying to be someone, and it's tough.
I love it now. 'Cause I realize that you need that as fuel sometimes. But the biggest thing I realize now about the haters is the fact that they're just jealous because they're not where you are, and they would give anything and everything to be there, but the only thing stopping them is them, and they're so mad about it that instead of doing something for themselves, they just project it out to you.
Yeah.
100%.
We get hate comments all the time, and you like click on their profiles, they have like 20 followers and like no posts. It's like, okay, guy, like, really?
Yeah. I used to, even myself, I used to hate on people, other fighters and everything. Well, why was I hating on them? I was mad because they're doing stuff that I wasn't doing, but I'm fully capable of doing it. So now I wish absolutely the best for everybody, even the guy I'm fighting. Like, I hope Abel Ramos has the greatest sleep of his life the night before we fight, and he feels like a fucking Superman, because without him, I can't be there. And the better he shows up, the better I have to show up in order to be successful. So I need that dance partner. I need the contrast in order to elevate. If not, no growth will be created.
That's actually kind of leading us into our last letter, N. N is like 2 parts, now and next. So you mentioned the fight with Abel coming up. Any burn moments you're going through right now? I mean, in camp or any burn moments that you see coming in the future?
I wouldn't say any burn moments. I would just say right now, it's very, very fucking tough. I am training for the biggest fight of my life. I am, at the same time, 2 years ago when I started healing myself, I started having different perspectives and different realizations about where I wanted to go in life. And that woman who I love dearly and always will, I came home one night and told her that I didn't want to be with her and left her. Not realizing that was one of the only rocks that I had in my life. Now when I have a bad day from training and I'm lonely, well, what happens? I go home to a cold, lonely house. So I don't have that support system. Then my other support system is your family, right? Where your roots are connected deeply. And I'm grieving my father. But I still have to get up every day and train. So it might look easy. Physically, it's easy. Anybody, you get up and run. But it's the emotional turmoil that you go through and process. That's the hardest part. And now for me, the fighting is so easy. But before you can be in the ring, you have to get to the ring. So right now, it's just about me managing my life and my emotions before I get to the ring. And every single day, that moment comes up where, my dad will come across me and I just break down crying. I've been in the gym so many times this camp where I pull up, I got my music going, and I just break down crying. And then I got 3 dudes waiting for me in there that I need to go box and go kill mode. And I just got to flip the switch and go do it. And that's that decision every single day to keep going or not. So right now, it's just about making it through every day.
How hard is it for you?
Extremely hard. I cry every day. And that's why I know that I cannot lose. Because the man in front of me, there is no way that he can put me through any more pain than what I'm going through right now. He is just a man.
Do you see a vision of yourself beating Abel?
Yes.
Speak it into existence.
Literally, I need to start speaking my golf tournaments into existence, and we'll win.
You got it, champ.
Yeah, I need to. Gives you a certain type of confidence and just, yeah.
But I feel like at the end of the day, like, you can't let your wins and losses define you either. Like you mentioned that earlier. You're not defined, like, at the end of the day, like, if we have a bad golf tournament, we're still going home to a loving family and like that moment doesn't define us. And as soon as you're okay with that, I feel like that's really when your abilities take off.
Yes. That's why I'm totally 100% okay with whatever happens in any one of my fights from now on. Even my coach, he's always like, win, lose, or draw, I'm always proud of you as long as you put in the work and you didn't try and cheat anyway. You know, one of the things that I've used a lot is cannabis. Cannabis became a tremendous friend for me when I was healing myself. I used to go through a bottle of Z-Quil like in 3 days. That was back when I was, you know, just to sleep at night because I'd be so jacked up from all the caffeine I had to take to get me going. And when cannabis became legal, I started using that. And then I would cut it off, you know, before a fight. But with everything that happened with my dad, I would need to now not use that as medicine, but use it as a numbing tool, right? And I would do that. I would use that, and that was one thing that he said: win, lose, or draw, it doesn't matter, but as long as you give 100%, and if you're doing something to numb yourself, you're not giving it 100%. So I'm happy to say I'm sober.
Congrats. There you go.
And going into this fight, 100% Cody Crowley.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Well,
He's gonna get it done, and
Yeah.
then he will win the WBC. Speak it to existence. Also, just because like someone loses doesn't define them that they're not good enough. I mean,
Once again, how am I comparing myself to somebody else when they don't have my thumbprint?
exactly.
Comparing apples to oranges.
Yes,
apples
sir.
to oranges.
But we're definitely in your corner. You're a warrior, man, and
Yes.
we appreciate you just sharing your story and all the little fights that you had to win to even make the walk on fight night, and
And going through a real life burn moment.
Even a guy who has a world title wrapped around his waist, something is still inside, possibly eating him up. You know, a lot of times we look fine, but there's something that is deteriorating the person.
yeah,
So
it's true, and it's something that should be talked about a lot more. And I feel like talking about it is
The best
the cure.
medicine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the cure for it.
Yeah, talking is key. Even with myself, like me as a person, after my traumatic injury happened, I knew it was gonna haunt me for the rest of my life. But I was like, the best medicine is just to go talk with someone about it, and it helped a lot.
That's how we started the podcast.
that's
Just talking to these people, like you that have just been through so much, and we can relate. But also, a lot of people who are watching this can relate as well. And like I said earlier, maybe sharing this story today helps them from taking their own life and seeing that there is a light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, I am doing a raffle right now in my dad's name. So I'm selling tickets back home, and I'm super happy and proud that I'm in a position now where I can do this. I've teamed up with WBC Cares, which is their outreach program, and a suicide awareness group, Team 55 in my hometown, who how they help is when someone is going through a difficult time with suicide and they need support, they can go to this foundation and they will help cover the costs, whether it be therapy or other different healing modalities. So the three of us have all teamed up, and we're doing a raffle for a free trip to Las Vegas, 2 plane tickets, hotel rooms, and floor tickets to my next fight on the 25th. And all the money is going in donation to the Suicide Awareness Foundation in my father's name. So I'm super proud about that. But tickets are only on sale until March 8th. So I don't know when this is going out. But if this is out relatively soon before the 8th, and you'd like to purchase tickets, my mom's an angel. She's once again not selling tickets for my fight, but selling tickets for a raffle. So if you're not in our hometown of Peterborough, you can call or text 705-927-3265. One more time, it's 705-927-3265 to purchase the ticket or make a donation, and everything goes in my father's name. So
Cool.
super grateful for anybody who likes, shares, talks about the raffle, or purchases or donates. My dad would be super happy.
For sure,
Awesome.
for
Yeah,
sure.
We'll definitely try to get that out to as many people as we can for your father's name and to honor your father. So
Thank you. I appreciate
Yes,
it.
and that's awesome what you're doing. Congrats on doing that, and you're gonna help a lot of lives.
helping a
Yeah.
lot of people, that's for sure.
My dad was my biggest fan. So doing this fight in his memory is amazing. And then also it's on March 25th, which is my 30th birthday.
Oh, okay.
So that's pretty amazing too.
Yeah.
Yes, happy early birthday.
Thank you.
My birthday's actually next week too.
Nice.
So yeah,
How old?
I'll be 17.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
He's still a baby.
I'm a little baby still.
See, going through difficult times. So I don't, age is just a number. It doesn't really represent the being inside. And sitting here talking to you does not sound like I'm sitting and talking to a 17-year-old. Well, 16.
Yeah,
16
16 as of
16-year-old
right now.
kid.
16-year-old,
Yes.
yeah.
There is a lot of wisdom and knowledge inside of that body of yours.
Thank
And
you.
I'm extremely excited for you to share it.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Appreciate it so much from the bottom of my heart. Appreciate it. Same with you.
Yeah.
Same with you. I mean, changing a lot of lives and doing good things in your life, and it's awesome.
I just want to be happy.
Hey, happy. It's the key to be happy. If you're not happy, then life's no fun.
Yeah.
That is true.
All right, Cody. Well, you just spelled burn in your life. So thank you.
This is
Thank-
awesome, guys.
Yeah, thank
you
you
once
so
again.
much
Thank you
for
so
coming
much.
on.
Appreciate it.
You mentioned the raffle for your next ticket, but maybe tell the audience
Again.
where your fight is, when it is, where they can find you, Instagram, all your platforms.
Yeah. So my next fight is on my birthday, March 25th at the MGM Grand Garden Arena, just down the street. It's in Las Vegas. I'll be fighting Abel Ramos for the WBC Eliminator. And you can find me on Instagram at Cody Crowley Boxing. Doesn't get any simpler than that. And that's about it.
Cool.
You heard the man. Go give him some love, especially the charity he is doing for his father and his name. And Cody, as a gift for coming on the podcast, we will be giving you the Burn Factory Black Label Edition hoodie and hat. And only guests who are on the podcast actually get this. So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you
Yes,
very
sir.
much.
We might have to get one of those hoodies in return. If you guys can't see, it says
One of
Warrior
these?
Light. Yeah.
Yeah. So I kind of have like a split personality right now. People know me as the crippler. But that's me in the ring. Outside of the ring, I go by the Warrior of Light. So, every person has a dark side. Every person has a light side.
Sir.
So when I'm
Love
in
it.
that ring, I am a monster. I am a demon. And when I'm out of that ring, I'm a man and I'm an angel.
Yes, sir. Love to hear it.
Thanks for having me on, both of you guys. You
Of
guys are
course.
awesome. But
Thanks.
also, let's thank mom and dad, because without
Yes.
them, we couldn't
Thank our
be
team.
here.
Yes,
So
exactly.
thank you to your
Thank
whole
you so
team
much.
and
Yes.
your mom and dad.
yeah, thank you guys.
And thank you,
Appreciate
Cody,
it.
for
Yeah,
coming
thank you
on.
for coming on.
This was awesome.
Let's go. Get it done March 25th. Let's do it. Let's go.
You will.
Now I got to go run 6 miles.
Oh, that's tough. Like always, please go visit my foundation at priestjamesfoundation.org. Again, priestjamesfoundation.org to understand why we call this the Burn Factory.
See you guys for the next episode. Peace.
All right, guys, Burn Factory boys here with Cody the Crippler Crowley. He just felt burn in his life. And as a champ, who are you calling out to come on the podcast?
The next person I'm calling out is Ibn Kaysen.
Ooh, Ibn
Ibn Kaysen is my coach, my business partner, and someone who has an unbelievable amount of knowledge to share to this world.
Cool.
So I want to call him
Ibn,
out.
let's go. Come on the Burn Factory. Spell burn in your life.
You heard Cody. Come on.